Hi friend, David here from Learn Stage Lighting, and today we're going to talk about some LED bars that I've been checking out for the last few months, and truth be told, I like them a lot. You may have seen in my previous video, I went over this new brand that I had heard of that's not new, but is a brand, called Gamma LED Vision. And they'd sent me some units, and then I concluded my video by saying, and now I'm going to go tear down my office and build a new one. And so that's what I did. We've got the new office here, we're getting cozy, and so now, let's talk about these lights again. So, in the previous video, I really went over their TX4 moving head, and I'm going to follow this video up with another one later that goes deeper into that one, but before we go deeper into that moving head, we're going to go over these pars that they sent over, because I think they're really great, I think they're smartly designed, and you really can't argue with them. So, let's go over the specs, okay? We've got here two pars. This guy right here is called the Starburst 7x18 watt. Now, what's in common with both of these is they're both 18 watt LEDs on the inside. The Starburst has 7, and this one, the ECON wireless par, has 6. These 18 watt LEDs are red, green, blue, white, amber, and UV. Okay, and between these two units, they're the same LEDs. They look the same, which is awesome. Okay. Now, I've had the chance to have these around the office. I've used them while I'm working. I've taken them out to a couple events at my church and used them as some uplights. And I'm, of course, not taking pictures because we were about, my wife and I were about to have a baby, and so it's just, life is crazy. But I've used these things. I've checked them out. I've tried them here. I've plugged them into consoles, and I like these things a lot. So let's go over what I like about these lights. Well, first and foremost, Gamma has really great pricing for what you get. It's a good value. So this is a par, obviously. This Starburst par, minimum advertised price on it is $192. We'll turn it on in a second here, but until then, I want to show you the physical. So it's a both of these units, and in fact, I believe all of the LED units that aren't moving lights that Gamma makes are convection cooled. Convection cooled I really like. That means that there's no fans. Now, no fans means that in 10 years when this thing's been up in the ceiling in your venue or church or wherever, and you've never serviced it, that fan hasn't clogged up with dust and or, gunk. And also, if the fan goes out in a fan-based unit, that light is going to then overheat. Okay, it's going to happen. These ones are designed to cool without any fans, and so you've really got that going for you. Of course, the downside to any convection-cooled unit is going to be that it's heavy, okay? I'll put on the screen here how much it weighs from the spec sheet, but, it's a chunk, right? It's not the lightest LED par you've ever held, but among convection-cooled LED pars, it's very typical. Okay, looking at the back, which is where we were going a minute ago, we've got ourselves a nice LCD screen, okay? It's bright. It doesn't feel super cheap. We've got PowerCon in and out. These are the old style PowerCon, shall we say. Not that they're old, they're still very current from a lot of manufacturers. They're just not the newer true ones. We've got 4 buttons, mode, up, down, enter. They do respond as they are labeled. And then we've got DMX in and out. 3-pin only. On the back of a fixture this size, you really don't have room to do both 3 and 5-pin. And so they chose 3-pin, and I don't have a problem with that. Okay, the unit feels solid. We'll look here at the yoke. It's not a bad yoke design as it is. Okay, so you got the yoke. Like a lot of LED pars, if you are going to be doing uplighting with this, I'll just plug in some DMX to show you. You can see here that with DMX plugged in, it's a little bit hard to see, but if we look here at the unit itself, DMX is plugged in, and that unit's wire doesn't ground out on the ground, okay? It doesn't run out of space. We'll do the same with the power just to check that, okay? We'll plug it in, going through the yoke so that it doesn't get trapped under the yoke. We plug that in. We've got it stood up at a pretty decent angle here. You could go wider with the yokes than I did, but you stand it up and we can see, hey, it's good. The DMX jacks are not pushing against the ground and therefore pushing up into the unit. They're not causing any problems, and that's really wonderful. Actually, we'll plug in DMX input and output just for fun. Now, while we're on the topic here of DMX cables and this gamma light, just excuse me while I plug it in. You can see the 3 and 5 pin, same height there. Rather the in and output, they're not 3 and 5 pin, David. But, you know, so it gets a little tight when you have everything plugged in. But again, I've seen worse in LED pars. You know, with any LED par, I always advocate with manufacturers for a longer yoke. I don't think it ever hurts to have a couple more inches of yoke height. Granted, it can make the unit more top heavy. An inch or two more would be great here, but it's not the end of the day. The thing you could always do if you don't like how high the yoke is, if you want it to be taller, is you could put the yokes together like so, and then mount it onto a floor base, and then you've got that extra height. The cables are a little further off the ground then. Some people say that defeats the purpose of having a floor stand double yoke, but I say it's fair game. So this is a nice unit. Yoke works. We've got tightening knobs on the side. They do what they want. And, you know, what I like about Gamma here is they haven't tried to reinvent the wheel with the yoke, okay? It works. It's a simple two-way split, you know, regular design where the two yokes come together at the fixture. They're tightened with the yoke knob. They're not trying to do any fancy business here like other brands have done in the past that has some kind of funky yoke that only goes one way or anything like that. There's none of that business here. And the ECON Par is exactly the same. So before we turn them on, let's just look at the ECON Par quick. Okay. So we get the ECON Par here, and this one is cool. Now, if you're looking at it in this video, at times, you might say to yourself, David, that par looks really dirty. Did they send you a unit that was quite dirty? No, they didn't. However, to put this thing to the test, this thing is IP65 rated. Okay, that stands for ingress protection. The 6 is the first number is for the dust protection, and the second number is for the water protection. Now 6.5 roughly means that 6 is the highest level of dust protection, I believe, and the 5 means that you could put this thing out in the rain, and assuming it's properly deployed, it will be fine. You know, any sort of flooding, submersion, a jet of water, it's not guaranteed against that. But, you know, generally I say 65, hey, light rain, great. You'll be awesome. Okay, you can do more than that. So the first thing we notice here is this is the ECON Par, and the difference here is there's one less LED. Honestly, visually, I can't really see a brightness difference. I mean, it's 6/7 of the Starburst Par, right? You know, that's not going to be a massive difference. So I don't really notice a visual difference when I have them side by side. They've got the same angle to them. It's about 20 degrees. Pretty typical beam angle for an LED par in this class. Got the same yoke, but what's different about this one is, bum-ba-da-bum, it's battery powered. Yes, it is battery powered. And oh, I was mentioning that a second ago that it was dirty, and the reason why it's dirty is because I was using it as a work light as I finished out this office. So I was drywalling all around it, all that stuff. You know, occasionally it got wet, never a problem. Okay, on the back side of this one, just to show you with it on, you get some options here. One is you've got a screen that's protected with this water protective thing. You know, it's fine. You got buttons that are water protected, or else, you know, it's pretty much the same setup as you had on the other one, the Starburst Par. You can set your color manually or use DMX control. And let me hop in here one quick second. You say, David, you forgot to mention something, and that is that this is also controllable with the remote that comes with the unit. How cool is that? So if you do weddings or special events, they have a small antenna on the front of the unit that looks like a scratch, and that controls the wireless. Anyways, and there's 2 different DMX profiles. Again, pretty typical. And let me say for a minute, you know, this is what I like about working with Gamma and talking with these guys and really getting to know them is they don't overcomplicate things, and I think they give you everything you need. When I run into an LED par, I only really want 2 profiles out of it, an LED wash light, okay? I want one mode that has literally just, you know, the colors that it has, RGB, amber, white, and UV for this guy. And it just assigns them each to one channel in order of the typical order, which is RGB and then either amber, white, or white, amber, and then the UV last. And then I want a mode, that's got for people with a simpler console, that's got intensity control, maybe some macros, maybe a strobe. It might be 10 channels as opposed to 6. That's exactly what these guys have. And it works great. I don't see the need to have like 5 different DMX profiles or channel modes for a simple par. I don't get it. And they don't do this, which is great. And so this guy, boom, power is going to come in via a true 1 connector. It does not have a power out because, again, it's battery powered, so I don't think they've got room for it. Same with the data. We've got DMX in and out. And this brings us to, actually, the best part about these Gamma lights. This is what I like about their stuff. And this is why I like their stuff. And, hopefully they don't mind my off-the-cuff style that I do with my reviews. But they send you open the box, okay? Get ready for this if you've bought lights before from other people. Because this is going to be one of those things that you might think, oh, it's a no-brainer. It's amazing. So you open the box, okay? First thing that comes out, power cable, right? Okay, every light comes with a power cable. This is a pretty nice one. It's not, it's got kind of a rubbery feel to it. They're not super cheap. Got those PowerCon, got that True 1 connector. Boom, it's actually technically a True 1 compatible, but that's what all the other manufacturers are doing too. Then we've got, what's next in the box? Not the light itself, but a DMX cable. Okay? Can you believe that? A DMX cable with the light. When I talked to Carlos about it from Gamma, he simply told me, he said, hey, David, I believe the customer should receive in the box everything they need to get going with the light. Okay? Everything they need. And for a light that uses DMX, that's going to include a DMX cable. Because, yeah, I mean, some people are going to run these in standalone mode. But most people are not, most of the time. And so this one with this, it's a weatherized cable to plug into these weatherized plugs here. And, distance on it, boom. 5-foot cable. Okay, that just reaches to the floor and about up to here. I'm 6 feet tall. So that's a 5-foot cable. Okay? Is a 5-foot cable going to be what you need every time that you deploy this light? No. But in a lot of setups, on a lot of gigs, in a lot of venues, a 5-foot cable is going to be useful to you. And they include it. How cool is that? It's like one of those things, he was talking about when you're doing an installation. It was Carlos's example to me when he was sharing with me why he does that. Say you're doing an installation, okay? You budget out the cost for the lights, and maybe you don't do this as a professional, so you're not thinking ahead. So you cost out the lights, right? You set your budget. Each light's $200, right? Okay, great. So each light's $200. Oh, but now we've got to add DMX cables, even if the lights are next to each other. It's another, what, $5 maybe? And so why not just include it in? I think that's really nice. And just one of those ways that as I dive deeper into Gamma and I talk to these people, I'm like, wow, they're just so thoughtful about the customer, what the customer wants. Are they right for everybody? No, but they might be right for you. So let's take a look at these lights now. I'm going to switch camera angles, hook them up to a console, and really walk you through, okay, what is it? How do these lights look? How do the beams look? And then we'll wrap it all up at the end. Awesome. So I just turned these guys on, and actually I recorded a bit quick. So this is actually at half speed. You see a little transition there, but we're not seeing any flicker on video. The colors look great. We started with a white, and now we're on red. We'll go through green, blue, cyan, magenta, yellow, and amber. And just take a look at these. We can see here the one on the right is the Starburst. It is a little bit brighter. You see it overexposes on camera a little bit with these particular settings, which I'm still learning how to use my new camera. But overall, the colors look really good. They look really consistent between the two, and that's really key to me. That matters, I think. The color mixing on the wall you see is quite good. It's not perfect. It's not going to be what you get out of a $1,000 LED par, but that's not what this is, right? It looks good. That's the UV there. We'll see the auto iris kind of open up on the camera there for the UV. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you some shots of these guys a little bit closer up. So here we can really see the cables coming out the bottom a little bit. They're really not grounding out. They're not hitting the floor. Same over here. The Econ's a little bit bigger because of the battery, but they both shoot up my wall. It's about 15 feet tall there. And they both do a really good job of filling that space, of showing off my drywall work, which is not perfect, and also showing my cable management. Awesome. Well, I hope you enjoyed that review of these gamma lights. Once again, the Starburst 7x18 watt and the ECON 6x18 watt LED pars. They're honestly really nice units, and if you're in the market for pars like this, I would give Gamma a call. Just check them out. Get a quote. Compare them against the other options on the market and consider getting them. They're not paying me. Again, my full disclosure here is that they sent these lights to me. If I would recommend something to you from Chauvet or from Elation or Blizzard, I could link to that on Amazon and get a small commission. With Gamma, their stuff's not on Amazon, so guess what? I'm not getting a commission. Maybe in the future that'll change if we work together more. But at the end of the day, as many of you guys know, there's two things that keep this alive. One, go get my free guide to begin with lighting. That's totally a pivot. But if you haven't gotten my free guide, I've got a free guide waiting for you over at learnstagelighting.com that will get you started with lighting. It's niche specific, meaning that if you do band, church, DJ, theater lighting, the guide is different for you. Okay, so it actually goes with your particular type of lighting. Now, second thought is, I'm not paid here by the manufacturers. They're not advertising. That's not how we do things here at Learn Stage Lighting, and many people are familiar with that. So, if you want to help us out and help me to be able to continue to bring honest reviews to you and not ones that are sponsored over the top, besides the company sending me the stuff, then go ahead and join us on Patreon. It's like the Learn Stage Lighting Club, where for just like $3 a month, you can ask questions of me on our podcast and know that you're helping this grow. And if you're looking for more help, info, and in-depth video tutorials, don't forget to check out Learn Stage Lighting Labs. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys in our next video. Thanks.